The interest in integrating cover crops and sheep grazing in almond orchards is because the plants really help with water infiltration, the livestock help with nutrient cycling, and the combination of cover crops and livestock contribute to an improvement in soil health.
Some of the benefits to this regenerative approach of integrating livestock is that there's less machinery, less labor, you're cycling nutrients, so less inputs. We're not planting under the tree row, but we did plant a cover crop about 12 feet wide in the middle, and then the rest is volunteer vegetation that just comes up. We chose sheep to integrate into our orchards because we've tried cows and they're pretty big and they have a much bigger impact on the orchard. And then goats like to eat everything. So even on the sheep, we have to be careful because on young trees, they will eat them. So we have to make sure that the tree's big enough to support having their influence.
But I think that the positives outweigh between what they pee and poop into the orchard and the nutrients that they provide of cycling all the cover crops is way beneficial than them eating a couple flowers. So about mid-February to March, we'll bring the sheep in for like 30, 45 days, and then we'll have them out 120 days before harvest. As we get more species out into this orchard, then we are bringing a better biodiversity so that those microorganisms can flourish and have food to eat during the wintertime so that when the trees wake up, they can supply some of the nutrients. And then hopefully we can get to a point where we're doing less chemical farming. As we build soil health, then we can produce better plant health, and plant health will produce better human health. So that's kind of the goal of what we're trying to do here.
So for this Western SARE project, we wanted to look at two specific things. We wanted to sample the soil to measure potential pathogens after grazing, and we also wanted to do an economic analysis to see if integrating livestock grazing into orchard management practices was a good financial practice as well. We had two study sites, one in Kern County, California, and one in Merced County, California. We collected a total of 600 soil samples over 2 years to track potential pathogens. What we found from all those 600 samples was that we had a less than 1% positive rate for pathogens in the soil. And of those positives, they all occurred from day 0 to day 60 post-grazing. And since harvest happens 120 days after grazing, that means we had 60 days before harvest where we had 0 pathogens found in the soil.
About August is when we get ready for harvest. We'll start bringing in heavy equipment and we'll shake in the trees, dropping the nuts on the ground.
We surveyed to see if there was any manure left. We couldn't find any. It wasn't even there to potentially get mixed with the almonds at the end. And so it's really a demonstration that the system is working. For our partial budget analysis, we compared conventional almond management practices to almond orchard management practices that integrate livestock. And when all those numbers were combined, we found a net potential profit of $7 per acre.
Overall, the project is saving about $7 an acre on average, but my savings is crazy huge because I was mowing multiple times and I'm going down to just one mow. And the other benefit would be the stacking enterprises. If you own your own sheep, then you also have another product that you can also sell.
Probably one of the most surprising was the nutrient density of it after year 1, showing that those levels were getting better. That's kind of one of the main reasons I want to do it, is because we can get to a point where we're showing that, hey, our almonds have more nutrient density than conventional almonds. Then I think that's a big win, not only for us as a farmer, but for the consumers that are eating them.
I definitely think farmers need to think outside of the box and try new things. As opposed to fighting weeds, we turned that into volunteer vegetation that the sheep could consume and just help us cycle nutrients.
This is like our 4th year now where we've been intentionally growing cover crops and bringing sheep in to graze. We started on 300-acre block and then trying to move that into more acres. I like to do this because I just like to try different things and to get away from some of the chemical farming that we're doing. And so we're not ahead of the game, then as they reduce some of the chemicals that we are able to apply onto our orchards, then we're going to be behind the game. And so being progressive as a grower, I think that's going to better suit us for the future.
This Western SARE grant enabled us to get initial research to help validate integrating livestock. And now with this initial research being done, we can go ahead and look for bigger grants that can help us really ensure where any positive instances that did test positive, where they're actually coming from, because we're unsure if they were coming from the sheep or if they were coming from squirrels or birds, etc.
Working with the farmers really strengthens the grant. They're excited about the work, we're excited about the work, and it helps us stay connected to what is really important in the research.